Happy Showcase Sunday, everybody, and this is our showcase summary down by the shores of Windermere here. And happy Jubilee weekend as well, and lots of celebrations going on across the industry. And it's a happy Jubilee weekend to Her Majesty, Her Royal Highness, the Queen, who is celebrating her Platinum Jubilee right now as we speak. So the first showcase Sunday we have was Caroline Wright talking about recruitment. She's from Taste Hospitality. Incredible top tips that you can actually have a look at to help you recruit the right people and actually be really clear and decisive on what you want, so that we can find exactly what you're looking for with the right team around you. So let's go over to Caroline. Here you go, Caroline.
No problem. My name is Caroline Wright. I am the MD of Taste Hospitality Recruitment. We've been open now for around 15 years. Do the job because it's what I know. I've worked in hospitality since I was 24, and I've just moved over to recruitment after working operationally. And when I started, it's just something that I continued because I just love what we're doing.
Excellent. Oh, I love that. And there's so many recruitments out there, and I know it's a bit crazy at the moment, we know that, but what's unique and different about Taste Hospitality and what you do?
I think we're a bit different because people kind of tend to get to know us more on a personal kind of level, because all of our team have been with us for a long time. So if somebody phones the office, they're going to know who Caroline is, they'll know who Dom is and Bronwyn and Sophie and what have you, and they'll be dealing with the same person all the time. We're not salesy. We just kind of, as I'm talking now, kind of say it as it is, good, bad, whatever. We'll always kind of be honest and just very kind of black and white, but in a professional way. But we're not going to mess around or be fluffy with different things. If we think something is, even if a client, for example, is giving us a job role and we're thinking actually this might be better or this might be better, we will speak openly in that way as well. So it's very much a kind of even keel the way that we work, and that we feel helps the client as well. And I think hopefully our clients will agree with that as well.
Now, I ask every single person who comes on my Showcase Sunday, have they got 5 top tips? And what are your 5 top tips, Caroline?
5 top tips. I suppose it depends on whether it's going to be from a candidate point of view or whether it's going to be a client point of view. So I can I'm going to cheat here and I'm going to do 5 and I'm going to collaborate on both.
I love that.
Less pressure on me. So for candidates is just prepare. Obviously, do your homework. There's nothing worse when you can give a candidate all the tools that you possibly can. We have it on our website. We've also got a sheet that we email to our candidate to say, right, this is your do's, this is your don'ts, this is where you need to look, this is how to prepare and what have you. So for candidates, prepare. And it's not just on research, it could be, how you're looking and things like that, how you're dressing, you've got to match where you're going to and things. So there's that. Clients, don't sit on CVs for 10 days. It wastes your time and it drives me absolutely potty, which I do tell them. But it's just like, you need staff and everybody's kind of busy, but nobody's going to kind of get anywhere or just be like, right, okay, get them here at this time. Trust us with kind of what we're doing. So speed is of the essence. People aren't going to hang around, so be quick. And, look at these CVs that are going to be coming in. Oh blimey, I'm only on 2 here. I'm trying to think of another 3. Top tips. Just speak to people in the industry as well, because your different hotels and your different restaurants, they might know somebody that could fill one of these roles or something like that. So that's another good tip. Obviously use your current staff they might have friends, bring incentives in to say, if you're bringing somebody in, because obviously not everybody's going to want to pay an agency fee, and if you can save yourself an agency fee, use your tools that you've got. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And anything to do, just advertising in the right places, but that's just kind of a given, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think the key is as well, is actually look at what you're offering as an employer, because would you actually go and work at your place if that's what you were offering you? And I say that a lot. I say, if you're offering accommodation that you wouldn't sleep in yourself, And if you're offering a wage that at that level that you were at, you wouldn't be happy with or be able to survive with. And if you're expecting somebody to be working 90 hours a week, you're not going to fill it. Not when there's other places and other industries right now offering far better rates, you know, amazing circumstances, you know, amazing work-life balance, etc. We've got to look at that as an industry, don't we? Thank you very much, Caroline. That was amazing. Great top tips there. And the next summary, our Showcase Sunday summary, comes from Pamela Carvell. Pamela Carvell, incredible lady, president of the Hotel Marketing Association. She is a force to be reckoned with, and what an amazing top tip she's brought with us today. Over to you, Pamela.
Yes, thank you, Alison. Thank you for having me on your Showcase Sunday. Yes, I've been involved with the Hotel Marketing Association for many, many years now, and as their press officer many years ago, I came up with this idea of us launching some hotel marketing awards, because back then the only marketing awards in the industry were the two Katies. There was a Katie Group Marketing and a Katie Independent Marketing. There was nothing else. Now I'm very proud of the fact that we've now recently announced the winners of the 27th Hotel Marketing Awards. So that's how long I've been involved in organising the awards for my sins. So I'm still on the Hotel Marketing Association committee, and my major job each year is to have responsibility for the awards. Because as people who haven't been involved in awards might not realise, it is a huge job, right from when you decide what will the categories be this year. You know, because categories need to be, you need some continuity, but they need to be relevant. Then it's what criteria will we judge against? Then it's when do we get it live and announce it? Then it's about receiving all the entries in. Then it's coordinating the judging panels. Then it's getting the feedback from all the judging panels. And then it's preparing for the actual, you know, big event when all the winners are announced. And also as part of that, I have to liaise with all the entrants who want to know or what's happening, or you know, when I go through the entries and links aren't working or something's missing or what have you. So yes, although that's not the main thing I do, my role in the HMA as Life President is that I take responsibility for the awards each year. And we're very proud of the fact that they are exclusively hotel marketing awards, and they've been around for a long time. You know, over many years, I've seen on people's CVs that they won a hotel marketing award, you know, in a certain year. In fact, I'll tell you a little funny story to start off, because we had the awards presentation recently for the 27th awards, and a gentleman at the function came up to me and said, "Hi Pamela," he said, "I don't expect you to remember me," he said, "but in 1999 at the Savoy Hotel at a rather wonderful Christmas luncheon, you presented me with an award when I worked for Forte Hotels." And he said, "I've never forgotten it." He said, "That's how important the awards are." So yes, I had goosebumps when he came up to my hand and told me. So, you know, people say awards don't matter. They do matter.
What would be your 5 top tips? And this is really hard, obviously, because I don't want you to give all the secrets of how to win an award, because that would be very unfair. However, it would be great to know what your 5 top tips are for the Hotel Marketing Association.
Okay. First one, I think, is to use our entry form as your template for future marketing activities, because it's the basic discipline of target market, of ROI, of smart objectives, you know, approach taken, etc. So I think that's my first tip, because, and then if you're doing that, it makes it very easy to enter our awards at the end of the year if you've been doing that. Second, I think, again, is to read the criteria for each of our categories. So if I was about to do some food and beverage marketing, if I read the criteria that our judges will be judging, that's almost a checklist. You know, should I stand out from the competition? Are you being innovative? Are you being creative? You know, so I think that reading those criteria will not just help you with our awards, but it'll help you do much better marketing, because we put a lot of time and effort into what are we going to ask the judges to evaluate by category, because although there's general criteria, there are very specific detailed criteria by category. So that would be my second tip, is to look at those criteria. Third one, in terms of actually entering any awards, put yourself in the place of a judge who may know especially if you're a tiny independent hotel in the foot of the Malvern Hills, they may not be familiar with your hotel. So put yourself in their shoes Have you presented the facts clearly to somebody that doesn't know your hotel? Have you really sold them on your entry? Have you got them excited by what the marketing that you've done? And also make it as easy as possible for them to click through to all the supporting materials, whether you're taking them through to websites or your TikTok channel or a PowerPoint presentation that was made to members of the travel trade or whatever. So put yourself in the place of a judge and give your all to that entry. You want to impress the judges, not just with the marketing activity, but with the quality of the entry. My next one would be to make entering awards part of your hotel's business plan, right? This shouldn't be something ad hoc that you suddenly see a tweet from me, later in the year saying, oh, guess what? We've just sort of announced the categories for this year's awards and it's time to start planning your entry. I think any hotel, particularly independent hotels, should up front decide for the year as part of their business plan, which awards are they going to enter? Within those, potentially, if there are different categories, what categories? And that should be part of their business plan, so everybody knows up front that that's part of their strategy to try and win some of those awards, and that it becomes part of what they do, because I think that also helps them to elevate. If you're doing marketing, as opposed to, oh, I can quickly get this promotion out, it's no, wait a minute, this could potentially be an award-winning marketing campaign. Just helps, I think, shift your mindset a little bit. And then I think my final fifth tip is look at what has made an award-winning entry a winner in previous years, because you can learn so much from that. And I looked at a couple of the examples, because to say we recently announced the winners, and you could learn so much from those. So, for example, the winner of Best Partnership Marketing this year was Splendid Hospitality for the Hotel Indigo in Edinburgh York Place. And that was a promotion called the Ultimate Giraffe Room Experience, where they teamed up with Edinburgh Zoo and the giraffes that are at Edinburgh Zoo. Now, again, look at what they did. There are a lot of hotels that could team up with local attractions and do things innovative. So look at an entry like that and think, wow, wait a minute, yes, what could we do along those lines? Similarly, the winner of Best Website this year was Rooms Apart Hotel, which is spelled R-O-O-M and then 3 little Z's, Apart Hotel. The judges really raved about that website because they wanted to improve the user experience. And it as a website, it does stand out. It's very easy to use. It's easy to book. There's a great virtual assistant. So again, as a hotel, if you're wanting to improve your website, go and look at what won the best website in the Hotel Marketing Awards. And then you'll see what a great user experience looks like. And you'll see how a website stands out and that you've been on the Rooms website. It's so distinctive. Similarly, the best food and beverage this year was the St Pancras Hotel for their Booking Office 1869 launch. Again, go and look at what they did. You can tell who their target market is. It is so obvious. You can see the amazing quality of the photography and how important it was to do quality photography for an outlet like that. So again, before you plan your next F&B marketing, look at what an award-winning food and beverage launch looks like. And I wanted to give a special mention to the Royal Crescent Hotel in Bath. They got highly commended for Best Leisure Marketing, and they were winner of Best Social Media. Now, if you want to know how to do social media brilliantly, look at all their different channels. Look at how they've used TikTok. Look at how they have a consistent brand identity across the different channels. Look at how they've used humor. I know there was a wonderful part in their entry for social media where they have amazing lawns and gardens there, and it was snowing, and this cheeky little squirrel was digging up this immaculate lawn to bury his nuts in the snow. And they added the theme tune from Game of Thrones because of all the winter concept in that, right? And put that out on social media. Now, I've never forgotten it, as you can tell, but it's the type of thing that I will never forget, that the Royal Crescent Hotel in Bath did that. So, if you dip into the social media of the hotel that won Best Social Media, you will get so inspired and motivated and think, I would have never thought of doing that. And then you can see also how many views things like that get. Yeah. But you can also see how they've maintained the brand identity. There's no point in getting 1 million people looking at it if they're not your target market. So again, by looking at those entries, and then Another mention, Best Leisure Marketing. We actually had 2 highly commended there, Royal Crescent, but also Carden Park, who'd done very well. And the winner was the Coniston Hotel up near Skipton, and that was for the launch of their Nadara Spa. Now, again, go and look at what they did to launch that spa, what makes it so special and so different to all the other spa launches that were done. So I think, yes, I know that's a long way of explaining my 5th top tip, but I think it's such a huge thing that because of the nature of our awards, I know with some awards you wouldn't be able to see what the company did to win that award, but with our awards you can go and look at the campaigns that won, and huge learning curve to look at, as I say, even if you just looked at what the Royal Crescent has done from a marketing perspective. Trust me, you would be inspired and you'd learn so much, because so much of what they've done is memorable. I mean, I just want to go to the Royal Crescent Hotel in Bath, having seen all their social media.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you very much, Pamela. That is amazing. Incredible content, incredible top tips on how to actually enter awards and what it does for your business. And the next Showcase Sunday summary comes from Caroline Pett. Wow. When Mental Health Awareness Week was on, she was helping with anxiety and how to be aware of it and how to make sure that you can get through any issues that you're currently going through. So over to you, Caroline.
Hi everyone, I'm Caroline. I'm an anti-anxiety specialist, as Alison has told you. I live and work just outside of Carlisle, so in the lovely Eden Valley, which is just beautiful, especially when the sun's shining. And I work online as well as in person. I've got a beautiful room in the village of Armathwaite. I work primarily with people that are dealing with anxiety. And as Alison said, I do that through hypnosis, but also through life coaching and emotional freedom technique. I also use energy techniques such as Reiki, and I have all sorts of different tools in my box. I also work with people that are struggling with alcohol addiction or over drinking, and to help them bring that down safely. And that's been a big problem at the moment. So a lot of work going on there too.
Yeah, and what would you say anxiety was, Caroline? Because a lot of people are saying, well, we're not sure whether anxiety is something they would label themselves with, or what would you explain, you know, to our audience?
So I try not to describe anxiety as a disorder. Anxiety is not a disorder, it's a natural reaction to a situation that you're in. And we actually really need anxiety in our lives. If we didn't have those feelings of something's not right here, then we would walk around in a bliss. And back in the day, we would have been eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. So, you know, we need to have that anxiety. It keeps us safe. But when anxiety goes overboard or is triggered by something that isn't real, in the sense that it's triggered by thoughts, then it starts causing problems. But there are things that we can do to control it.
What are your 5 top tips that you would give to everybody at the moment?
Well, the first one is kind of what I've just said. So when it comes to stress and anxiety, take a break, step back, rest, and your mind will come up with solutions. And on a bit of a side note to that, just be aware that stress and anxiety is a natural reaction and you're in an unusual situation. So you should feel stress and anxiety, and you're not mentally ill and you're not going mad. But do give yourself time to take that break, and it will help you feel better. When it comes to over drinking, it is easier to follow rules 100% of the time than 98% of the time. If you're only following rules 98% of the time, you're always wondering, is this that 2%? So take a break from drinking for a set amount of time, or only drink on certain days, but set yourself some guidelines and stick to them. So don't start giving yourself, oh yeah, but it was sunny today, so I thought I'd have a G&T, If it's one of your non-drinking days, if it's a non-drinking day, it's a non-drinking day, and it's non-negotiable.
So really, I was just going to say, really, that's a non-negotiable, and that's the key, isn't it? And setting yourself smarter objectives, which is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-bound, and then evaluate and review it and see how you're getting on. But those smarter objectives are the things that gives you the goals and objectives to win, to be successful.
Exactly, and you often only think about the SMART objectives when it comes to business things or coaching people to improve, but actually it works for personal goals and stuff as well. So yeah, if you make a plan and stick to it. Also planning other activities as well. So if you know that you start getting a bit itchy for a drink at 5 p.m, plan to do something else, whether that's go for a walk with a friend, or you're going to watch a particular movie and you're going to get snacks for it, whatever, but plan something else to do at that time. Now, sleeping well, this is number 3, underpins everything. If you don't sleep well, everything else is going to feel much, much harder. And when it comes to sleeping well, a good routine is key. So your body gets to know when it's time to go to sleep. So you have to treat yourself a bit like you would treat a child and have a set bedtime. Now, this also means it works better if you also have a set getting up time, which means no lying on a Saturday and a Sunday, because that breaks your routine. By all means, get up, get a cup of tea, head back to bed at the weekend, or in hospitality, probably not at the weekend, but whatever your rest days are. But yes, good routine is key when it comes to sleeping well. And also number 4, in order to help you sleep well, and for your stress and anxiety levels throughout the day, is to allow rest periods throughout the day where your mind is doing absolutely nothing. So there's a part of your mind called the default mode network, and it's a bit like standby mode. And that only kicks on if you're not doing anything. So that means put your phone down, stop scrolling through Facebook, turn the TV off, don't have the radio on, don't read, sit and do nothing, just daydream and allow your mind to wander over a cup of tea or a glass of juice or a biscuit, whatever. Just sit outside for 2 minutes and get your face in the sun. But that default mode network starts sorting out your experiences from the day and tagging them for processing while you're asleep. And by allowing yourself time to do that during the day, you don't get that bit where your head hits the pillow and your mind just goes because it's not had time to do it throughout the day. So you will fall asleep more easily if you have rests during the day, even a little snooze during the day. And then my final and probably the biggest top tip is ask for support. Whether that is for somebody with dealing, like myself, dealing with anxiety, or whether it is for a specific situation that you've got, so something that maybe Alison could help you with, or financial advice or business advice, or if there is a specific problem that you're struggling with, get support with it, because you can try to solve things on your own, but actually there's somebody out there who either knows the answer or knows who will know the answer, and you will kick yourself when you realize that the solution is really, really simple, but you would have never come to it on your own. So asking for help really is sometimes the hardest thing to do, but really makes such a big difference.
And our next Showcase Sunday is the amazing Adam Powell. Adam Powell is our BBC Cumbria radio presenter here, and he's given us lots of top tips and great insight into how to get involved with your local radio station and TV. So over to you, Adam.
Good afternoon, Alison. Good afternoon, watchers, listeners. Nice to join you. Well, my name's Adam Powell. I work for BBC Radio Cumbria. I'm their afternoon presenter. I've spoken to Alison many, many times. We talk about all manner of things. Essentially, we are a news, sort of 2 hours of news mingled in with music, but it focuses on the news stories of the day. We like to get a local angle on many things. Clearly, over the last 2 years, COVID has been a massive issue, which has a huge impact on hospitality and the tourism industry. So it's something that we've spoken to Alison many, many times about. What we do is try to localize things, try to make it relevant for people, try to ensure that people understand what's actually going on, because there's so much information being put out there. We like to get experts on who make it easy to understand, so people listening, people within the hospitality industry know what to do, because, as I say, it's a complicated issue out there. We've had 2 years like no other, and it's good to get it localized. It's good to get it clarified so people know what they're doing to help them. Social media is an important part of your armory, really, because that is where a lot of media get their stories from. So get yourself out there, have yourself a platform on social media so you can tell your story. Next point is work out what a story is, because bless you, so some people are sitting on cracking stories and don't realize it. So I mean, if it's of interest to other people, we want to hear about it. So if you're doing good, you've had a record year, you're employing some different people, you know, you're expanding, that kind of thing. These are all relevant news stories for a local media channel. So know what you're doing, to be honest, know what you're all about, and don't sit on your laurels. Tell other people, don't be shy. And when you do get that sort of call, work out what you're going to say, but don't over prepare. Try and be relaxed when you're on the radio or the television or whatever. Easier said than done. Perhaps you don't want to do it. So put one of your team forward who is a perhaps more vivacious personality. And when you do get on the radio or the TV, make your point, be succinct, don't waffle, get to the point. And be led by the interviewer. You know, I don't know about you, but I find it very awkward when people start talking over one another. I like a nice, clean listen. I'm not Nick Robinson, so I'm not going to interrupt you generally. But yeah, get your story straight in your head, sell it to the media, but don't oversell yourself. I mean, this isn't a, I mean, we don't want to hear irrelevant stuff. We want to hear news stories. It isn't all about you, but if it's a story that is relevant to where you live, the people that you work with, we want to hear about it. Charitable donations, things like that, expansion plans, as I say, we want to hear about it. And obviously try and relax, get to the point. Those are my tips, really.
Thank you very much, Adam. That was amazing. Great information, great top tips and great actions for you to get hold of your local radio station or local TV now and get your business noticed and certainly, you know, impact your business on exposing to your ideal client avatar. And the next Showcase Sunday is the incredible Tim Farron, our local MP here in Westmoreland and Lonsdale, and what great top tips he had, how to work with your local MP and how to actually make a difference, and actually how to be clear and decisive of what you're wanting to help and support with and be really on it. So let's go over to Tim Farron, MP.
Right, okay. I am Tim Farron. I am sat in Milnthorpe. I am the Member of Parliament for Westmoreland and Lonsdale, which includes the biggest chunk of the Lake District and a rather large chunk of the Yorkshire Dales and lots of other nice places as well. Why do I do it? Well, functionally, I guess I do it because people voted for me and I'm really grateful. But I got involved in all this in the first place because I was 14. I watched a repeat of Cathy Come Home. It made me cry and I joined Shelter. And that's how I got involved in politics.
Wow. What was it about that made you get involved?
Well, I guess I've watched the programme twice. If you've ever seen it, it was made in 1966. I want to point out it was a repeat. I wasn't born until 1970, and I watched it when I was 14. I've watched it twice, once then, and it made me cry because Cathy reminded me of my mum. I knew people who've been in the situation she'd been in. If you don't know the story, this is a lady who finds herself homeless, marital breakdown, homelessness, ends up being passed from pillar to post. Eventually she ends up losing her children. It's absolutely flipping tragic. I watched it when I was 14. It made me cry because I felt compassion for her situation. I watched it on its 50th anniversary because I did a thing with Ken Loach, who is the filmmaker, who is not a Liberal Democrat. He's a Corbynite, but it's a great film all the same. And he and I did a meeting in London to celebrate its 50th anniversary. I watched it again on the train on the way down, and it made me cry, aged 46 or whatever it was. And it made me cry that time, not just because, I think what moved me the first time was just the plight of Cathy. What moved me the second time was a plight of Cathy and a sense of real anger at the fact that all the officials in the film just pass her on. They don't give her the time of day. They treat her like she's the culprit, not the victim. And it just made me think that one of the reasons why I do what I do is I'm determined not to drop anybody, not to be like those people who Cathy came to and they just shrugged their shoulders or treated her like the dirt on the bottom of their shoe. You know, we have a policy, I have a policy locally that I don't drop anybody in need. Even if I can't solve it, I won't drop them.
I know what you do when, you know, there's hospitality and tourism business owners who are looking for help and assistance, but how can business owners from around the country get help from their MP? What is it that you can do, or their MPs can do for them, for the businesses?
So I guess my perspective is that, first of all, listen. One of the most important things for anybody who's an MP to realise very early on is you are not an expert. So you remain humble and you keep your ears open and you learn from people who are. So you've got to, you know, care about the industry. And I do. I mean, first of all, when you serve in an area like this and you spend your time in the communities of the Lakes and the Dales and the other parts of Cumbria, you get a sense, it's a joyful thing. Maybe you don't always feel like it in the hospitality and tourism industry. It's a joyful thing to be serving people over the time of their life, or certainly the time of the year, being away on their holidays and being with us in such a beautiful place. So can you be infected by a bit of that joy? That's a great thing. Can you also recognise the challenges that people face without overemphasising the negatives? So the first thing is that it's important for me to be, without being cheesy and with being authentic, to be a proper advocate for our community, to be just dead proud of it, to love it, and to walk around being a walking billboard almost in Parliament, talking about the Lakes and the Dales, and so I do. I hope when I sing the praises of our area, I hope it sounds authentic, because it is, because I mean it. It's a wonderful place, and I want people to enjoy it, people who live here and people who come and visit. But what are the other things? I mean, so that it's understanding what are the problems. And so obviously throughout COVID, huge issues there, which we sought to grapple with one by one. And some people within the industry, within the sector, were those who the government's financial aid didn't stretch to and were in serious need. So being their voice and drawing common cause in other parts of the community which were equally affected. But, you know, in other ways, for instance, the issues relating to the workforce, I don't need to tell you this, Alison, but I mean, I think I'm right in saying 63% of tourism and hospitality businesses in Cumbria last year operated below capacity because they couldn't do anything else, because they couldn't find the staff. And so that's something that the government needs to know about and need to understand what are the problems and what are the solutions. And fundamentally, there are three problems. One is the evaporation of affordable property for people to live in, and so you lose your local working age population, therefore you lose your workforce. Secondly, try not to get too political here, but visa rules are a major problem. And the third thing is, well, maybe smaller, but it's still important, is public transport. You've got places where people live, and you've got places where we need them to go to work. And if you've got public transport, which, you know, from Kendal to Ambleside, return trip will cost you more than 2 hours work. Yeah. Well, so it's a massive off-putter. And so those three issues, which the government could do something about, and which I've got some ideas about, and I push them, I only get those ideas because I listen to people like yourself, Alison, who support the industry, and other people out there in the industry who tell me what the problem is and how it could be fixed.
What are your 5 top tips that you would give to the audience today?
Oh gosh, I mean, I'll start reeling off bits of, you know, avuncular advice, shall I? Well, in no particular order, and we'll see if I even get to 5. But I think the first thing is that in order to, in any organisation, you need to be clear about what it is you're seeking to do. And your message needs to have clarity. So if we're talking about how hospitality and tourism gets heard and listened to and taken seriously, then the first thing is about clarity. Mixed messages or multiple messages don't tend to land. So work out what your message is. The second thing is, so clarity and then credibility. So you need to be, your message needs to be clear, and the way you need to deliver it needs to be credible. And that applies to every single one of us, that you are seeking to affect people. And to do that, you need to have that credibility. And so I think you achieve that by working together. And then also making sure that you carry the authority of the place that you are from. I mean, most of the major tourism destinations in the UK are places that resonate, and so make sure you're speaking on behalf of that community to speak together. So so clarity and credibility. Obviously, if you're an employer and you've got a team of people, you need to lead them by inspiration, by example, but of course you've then got the normal tools of a boss to motivate and to move your team, which involves pay and discipline and all that kind of thing. If, however, you're trying to motivate a group of people who you don't have that call over, whether it be politicians, whether it be local council leaders, or indeed the general public or the media, it's all the more important that you use those soft skills, and that means being able to talk to people as though they're not the enemy. And you might be really cross about something, and that passion needs to come across. But as I said earlier, treat people as allies. Or at least potential allies, even if the party in power you hate, even if you think they're doing dreadful things, all the rest of it, whether it be nationally or locally, your MP or your councillor, at least treat them from the beginning as a potential ally. And I think, so you've got to then be able to motivate people again by inspiration, rather than by, telling them off, because that just tends not to work. And it's not something that we can do if we don't directly employ people. That's 3. What else can I talk to you about? Again, well, here's me, blah, 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 blah. In all things, as my gran used to say to me, she said, Timothy, you got 2 ears, 1 gob, use them in those proportions. And you listen because it's polite, you listen because it's right, and you listen because you'll make it because it's wise. I mean, in an industry that has such a huge market domestically and hopefully again soon internationally, then obviously you need to listen for marketing purposes and all the rest of it, but actually subtly understanding where people are coming from, what are their motives, so how you can work with them, how you can work to align your objectives with theirs. It's so important, because the people you speak to, you hope that their priority is the same as yours, but it probably isn't. But nevertheless, you can still align those priorities somewhere and find how you can work together in terms of making sure that, so local housing association might be, I think they've got a totally different set of objectives to you in the tourism industry. Well, not really, because you want more affordable houses built so you can have staff and so your kids can live somewhere, and they want to provide more affordable homes because that's their mission. So let's just think about ways in which we can work together. I don't know what the 5th one is.
It's that common ground, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's the common ground of actually working together. It's collaboration, really thinking, well, what's the common ground here? What's the ultimate goal? And how can we work together to make it happen in a positive way?
Yeah. And I think the 5th thing really is I suppose it's about patience, perseverance, don't give up. You won't always get the thing you want first time. And people in business know that especially, that it is about persevering and not giving up. It doesn't mean you won't amend, because part of using the 2 ears is about understanding how your pitch, whether it be your business or whether it be your, shall I say, campaign or advocacy for the government to do better things for hospitality and tourism, the more listening you do, the more you will subtly, organically evolve your product to your message. But nevertheless, don't give up.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Tim. That was amazing. And wow, what an incredible Showcase Sunday summary it has been this week, with incredible top tips, so much information that you can implement right now with what you're doing within your business. So may I wish you a happy weekend, a happy Jubilee weekend, and may I wish you all the very best. Happy Jubilee weekend. Take care.